Me and some friends went to the abandoned mental asylum at night, not really expecting much. We busted in one of the boarded up windows, and when we were inside, all we heard was talking. We figured out other people were in there, so we followed the sound. We were walking down the hall and heard what sounded like a woman whispering, "Why did you take my baby?" over and over again. At this point, I'm visibly shaking. I believe we found the sound was coming from. We go in this room and there was a huge cage. It looked like one of those pet carriers, but human-sized. I don't know what the fuck happened that night. I don't really believe in dead people were talking in there, but the sheer creepiness of it all was too much. My cousin and his family, wife and infant son, had lived in their house for about 5 years. His wife left home to drop the baby off at the daycare before work, but realised she had left her phone at home. Entering the house, she turned the corner to the hallway and nearly ran into the drop-down attic ladder, which was fully extended. They never used the attic as it was filled with loose insulation, and my cousin had left for work hours earlier. She quietly left the house, drove around the corner and called the police. When the police investigated, they found a short-range transmitter connected to several cameras hidden throughout their home. The light fixture in the shower, the ceiling fan above their bed, and even a pinhole in the nursery were sending videos to a nearby location. The neighbour a few houses away had been given a key by the prior owners and installed surveillance equipment. Once he knew their schedule, my cousin's wife walked in on him updating his equipment, but he forgot something at his house and left to get it. When she walked in, he had been watching them for years. Works at a women's clothing mail order catalogues call centre. During training, a veteran worker was talking about getting to know the frequent callers and the story of one of them. So, old lady used to be called in often. She was blind, but would have someone to help her pick out things. The manager of her apartment complex, I think. She would order often, and they got to know her by her name. Well, eventually she stopped calling in, so they contacted the number they had for her, which was an apartment manager's number. Old lady was fine, but had to move to a new building because, well, the blind old lady was very meticulous with her cleaning. She cleaned everything often at old lady level, so the manager had to come in to do some maintenance for the first time in many months. Every room in her apartment above head level had thick webs, nests of black widow spiders on hundreds of hundreds. Can you imagine an oblivious old lady walking around a blind house, thinks she is spotlessly clean, but there's a soul-freezing nightmare swarming all over the ceiling. This actually happened to a friend of mine. She used to live in an entirely different town when she was younger, and her closet had this strange door in the left back of it. Well, whenever it was imagined, just due to her being a child at the time, or if it really did happen, she started to hear noises coming from behind this door whenever she went to bed. She told me that several times she tried telling her parents that she was hearing these noises, but they never believed her. Some time goes by, and one day her parents get a call from the police because they just arrested a homeless man. This was not just any homeless man, though. The homeless man was living in some sort of tunnel that goes straight to the door in the back of her closet. So every once in a while, for whatever reason, this man would come through that door and watch my friend sleep in her closet. My grandma's in the local town doing her shopping and running the various errands. On her way home, she met one of her neighbours out doing the gardening. She stopped, asked how they were, and they had a chat, and Gran came home. When she got in, my Gran had asked how town had been, if she met anyone on the way. Gran started talking about the neighbour. Gran had interrupted, "Mrs. Black? We were at her funeral 2 weeks ago." Apparently Gran nearly passed out once she realised.